Hello, I'm Mark Bleckley with the Andel Global Trade Center, and today I'd like to spend a few minutes with you talking about international trade fundamentals, just the basics, and what it takes to kind of get over the learning curve from just being or doing the basics in international trade to becoming a sophisticated international trading company. I have worked with hundreds of companies in consulting and training over the last 12 to 13 years, and I have seen all levels of sophistication in international trade. And let me give you a couple of features of some of the companies that I work with that could really use just some basic fundamentals in international trade and make a wealth of difference in their operations. So what is the profile of companies that could use this type of fundamental training? So I've worked with a lot of companies that are basically domestic traders, domestic companies. And in today's world, it's pretty quickly any domestic company tends to find some opportunities to follow their big customers or get proposals to do business internationally. And so a certain percentage, albeit sometimes small, maybe it's only 10, 15% of your business involves import or export operations. So oftentimes it's not enough to hire an international trade professional to handle your exports and your export documentation and your compliance, or your customs entries on your imports and dealing with the customs brokers and things like that. So these are the types of companies that are going to benefit most from taking somebody from within and helping them get up to speed with the basics and fundamentals of international trade. I've also seen companies that bring on new employees and employees change. And so somebody that doesn't have a background in international trade wakes up one day and all of a sudden they're responsible for the import and export trade operations. So it's important, though, to realize that if there's a few basic fundamental things on export documentation and transaction structures and the information and data that goes into international trade, it can really move you forward over that learning curve and make your operations go a lot smoother. So we have some opportunities for you, because at Van Andel Global Trade Center, the first of the year always means basics thereof. And we bring on our basics of importing and our basics of exporting training. And 2022 is going to be no different. And so here's a opportunity for you to get the basics and the fundamentals and get over that learning curve. So in January, Van Andel Global Trade Center is going to be offering basics of importing. We're going to offer the virtual training is on the 26th. We're going to cover customs entries, import documentation, classification and value of goods, and the duties and tariffs that are charged on customs entries, and how to read customs entries, and record keeping, and a lot of the compliance issues associated with managing your imports. Basics of exports is going to follow up in February 10th. This is a great event where we cover transactions, export documentation, again, classification, country of origin, the export declaration. And there's a lot of really sensitive compliance issues that you need to be aware of when you're doing export operations. Now, anytime that you get involved in international trade, you realize that the harmonized tariff classification comes into play really quickly for any shipment trying to cross a border, either import or export. So we follow up these very fundamental programs with a fundamentals of harmonized system classification in April. This is coming on April 14th. Learn how to classify your products, learn how to verify the classifications that you've been using over and over again are the right classifications. It's paramount to understand that you have the classifications correct in your import and export operations. So that's coming in April. I hope you will join us and become a sophisticated international trader by getting over the learning curve of the basics of importing, exporting, and classification.